Hey guys, what's going on? Lucky Cheese 7 is back again to give you guys another Eden Zero manga live stream discussion. Oh my god. Let me just go ahead and say this. I apologize. I apologize so far in advance that I haven't tackled Eden Zero in what's it been now? 6 chapters, I think? Because truth be told, April has been an insane month. It's been like a super, super insane month. And I maybe only had one weekend where I could have just, even tackled just something brief. But something was always happening every weekend, and I didn't really have time, and it frustrated me. That and coming off from work too wasn't exactly biggest thing in the world, and I get kind of exhausted. So I told myself I need a weekend. I just need one weekend, one day where I can plan everything out, and if things go well, you know, I should be getting back to my normal routine. That being said, though, the live reactions to the Eden Zero chapters are still. It's not going to happen for a while. I'll just say that. For the time being, if you guys have noticed what's been going on my end, I recently moved over to a new place, and a lot of my stuff is still kind of unorganized, if you will. So I've been busy just trying to like set everything up, and my new mini library lounge room is still currently in the process of being made. It's kind of just empty at the moment, meaning, yeah, the setup isn't going to be exactly how it is right now. So I want to say either by July or August, at the very least by July or August, the live stream, the not the live stream discussions, but the um reactions will be making a comeback around July, August. That's my prediction. That could totally be off track too. I could be off base on that personally, but my aim goal right now is to make sure by end of July or end of August we get that room set up, and then we'll kind of get back to how things used to be. I say kind of, but for the time being, as I said, we're stuck with the live stream discussions, which is still fun. Like I think it's still fun for me to do that because it allows me to have my own time to read the chapters and then just share my thoughts. And we're going 3 minutes, and it's like, come on, look at you, just get to the chapter, just talk about your thoughts, okay? Just that's all we're here for. I know, I know, y'all are here for that, so that's what we're about to dive into. So let's go ahead and just get to chapter 184 because, truth be told, there's a number of things that have happened, and luckily I've got all my notes in right here. The one thing I want to just dive right into, given the ending of the last chapter, was the setup between Ziggy versus Elsie. I remember being left on the note and thinking, I wonder how this is going to go down. And when one of my predictions was, if we're getting Elsie versus Ziggy right now, a death flag's coming. That was my big thing. I was like, okay, well, someone isn't gonna make it out of this, and I was 100% certain it was gonna be Elsie. But we see this confrontation. The way the battle's going through, it's a great battle sequence. Like that's one thing I'll give Hero. Because a lot of people want to say, oh, like it's so fast paced. Yeah, it's pretty fast paced. But I feel like how he implemented in Rave Master is really showcasing Indian Zero, and he's done that so far too. Not that the fights in Fairy Tail were bad, but there's a clear difference when you look at how the fights are handled there versus how the fights are handled right now, currently. If you know what I mean. So we're seeing Ziggy showcase some attacks. Elsie going through, doing the sword slash. And this is where things get sort of interesting. Because as these fights are going through, you have like this little brief dialogue instance between the two where Ziggy goes like, to think that little girl would grow this strong. I'd expect nothing less of the Oration Sace Galactica. You are indeed the equal of Crow and Acnoella. Then Shiki is now equal to you in power as well. which is something Elsie brings up, saying, I haven't sparred with him in a while, but some months back he was almost at my level. He showed me just how strong a person can become when their desire is to protect. And Ziggy goes, like, I see. Which Elsie says, Shiki meant so much to you before. I can't believe you've changed like this. And the next panel we get with Ziggy, and it's a theory I've had for a while with Ziggy, where he might not be who he's assuming to be. Like, that's a theory I've had for a while, where potentially Ziggy could just be faking all this. That's what I've been thinking. But the way Hero's drawing this panel, like, we don't get any eyes at all. We just see, like a side shot of Ziggy, and he's saying, "That was not the real me. I lost my memories, and without them, I was idiot enough to raise a threat to the cosmos." And that's been mentioned more than once, by the way. A threat to the cosmos. A threat to the cosmos, Shiki, and that's what Elsie's saying. Which is interesting because as soon as that gets mentioned, we dive right back into Shiki and Rebecca, where Ziggy says he is the one who will destroy the universe. And again, that leads all the way back to the second chapter, where you have Mother saying, will he become a hero legend or wreak havoc as a demon king? The fact that all this stuff's being led somewhere kind of has me going like, Now, again, I'm not saying we're gonna get Shiki become the villain. That's not what I'm thinking. But seeing Shiki go down a dark road, I think that possibility is still there. I think. How high of a possibility, I have no idea. But that's besides the point. So we're seeing the two run. Ultimately, you see Happy. You're seeing them run across the skeleton army. Happy goes, I get the skeleton army. We'll charge through them. Let's go, Happy. Automatically getting the Happy Blasters from Rebecca. And yo, I'm not gonna lie, some of these panels of the skeleton army, they look kind of. I'm not gonna say they're on berserk territory. Definitely not that. But there are a few phases where I'm like, that's a little sus. Just a little. That's an enemy stronghold for you. They're everywhere. Fights are going through. Then Weisz and Homura enter. Pretty amazing too. You see Shiki smile. Over here, Shiki. Please hurry, Pino says. We shall close that door. They're running over. Shiki says, whew. Not that I didn't expect it, but that was a lot of enemy soldiers. Sorry, everyone. Don't worry about it. Anyway, what's this passage? Evidence suggests this passage will lead us to the planet Square. And Homura says, I need not tell you that the inside too will be crawling with enemies. Brace yourselves. Interestingly enough, we get that and we cut all the way back to what's it called? Ziggy versus Elsie. I'm sorry for the brief pause there, guys. Sorry about that. Then did you only save me because of your lack of memories? Of course. The real me would have never rescued a human girl. I see. That is truly unfortunate, I said Shiki. Ziggy. And when I saw what Elsie was about to do next, I was like, yo, I know that stance all too familiar. Like, that stance is way, 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 way too familiar. 7 stars. Leave your mark. Grand Chariot. Looking totally badass, too. And, of course, given what we know about Ziggy from the Nero 66 arc, he grabbed, Nero's wormhole ability. And he mentions that, too. So he can move across space at will. And that's something else he anticipated. Like, yeah, I knew you would try to attack from behind me. And as that's about to happen, it looks as if she traps him. And Ziggy points at it, you're like, oh my god, what is this? Is this like trap ether? Star Drain, Lendard. That taste the power of my planet. Total eclipse. But obviously, in saying that, you see Elsie going for the attack. And for a brief instance, okay, a brief instance, you see Ziggy say, Elsie, run, which stuns her. Like, wait, what? Take Shiki and his friends and go far away. And she hesitates for a moment. She thinks about the old Ziggy. And right when that happens, boom, he just pierces through her stomach. And I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, yo, that is such a dirty call. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it makes sense with the narrative and what Shiki's going for, but for that brief moment, I was like, oh my god. There's still a little bit of the old Ziggy in there. Almost kind of hinting like he could be possessed, if you will. Which, it's interesting how that topic gets brought up in the following chapters, because the next chapter, chapter 185, get an awesome cover page of Zhao Mei, by the way. And I still gotta tackle my video on her, by the way. There's a pretty big video I've got in mind when it comes to Zhao Mei. For those of you that don't know, my theory on this is that Zhao Mei could be the future daughter of Shiki and Rebecca, maybe. But that's a video for a whole nother day. But we're seeing this. We're seeing Elsie stab. And as that's happening, he sends Elsie back. Magimek attack, Gravity Inferno, and oh my god! Like when I saw this, I was like, "Yo, she's done." Like, there's no saving Elsie. Elsie is gone because Ziggy says something. He says, "Your own naivety brought upon this death. Your own naivety brought this death upon you." Magimek attack, Gravity Comet, which I thought was something. Something about the roller setup, because when he's about to go in for the attack, it doesn't happen because all of a sudden Justice comes into the picture and he saves her. And I remember my initial thoughts were, huh, that's kind of sudden. But thinking about the flashback, I mean, Lendard was Justice's homeworld too, so it's not like it was kind of one of those things where it was like, okay, it makes sense, but it was like in that moment, it's like, really, like Justice, like where did you come from? And I bring that up because we get that answer in the latest chapter, I believe. If it's not the latest chapter, definitely 188. And Ziggy's kind of surprised, like he's taken aback, like, wait, what the fuck? Who's there? And Elsie says, James. Sorry, she's my quarry. I refuse to let you have her. You of all people, rescuing me? And I think that's kind of interesting because Justice reaffirms something. He says, I'm not rescuing you. It is my mission in life to kill you. No one will take that from me. How did you find me? Of course, Feather. And as soon as that happens, we transition all the way back to Ziggy again, where he's talking with Acnoella. And this whole alliance between Acnoella and Ziggy, I think, is fascinating because initially it's like Ziggy is reaffirming to Acnoella of what she has to do, but we come to find out that no, Ziggy, that's not how things work. Because at first she was like, wait a minute, weren't you going to finish up Lady Elsie? And right off the gate, he's like, yeah, I lost interest. If I may be bold, Lord Ziggy, I'm not your subordinate. I take no orders from you. Then consider it a request. And the request was to essentially follow them and end them. And let's be fair, that could still happen. It's not like Elsie dying did not come off the table. It's just that death is kind of off the table right now. Ultimately, that's the thing. Sorry about that, guys. There was like I was overhearing a sound somewhere, and I was like, "What the heck is that going on?" But whatever. In that case, gladly. However, please remember this, and this is something she tells Ziggy. Should you betray me, my children will devour every last machine on this planet. So it's kind of emphasizing that even though, there's a pact, that pact could easily be broken. That's the thing. It's not like that pact is all sunshine and rainbows, ultimately. And Ziggy points it out like, yeah, you're a difficult woman. Cut back to the Eden Zero crew, you're seeing Hermit, high energy readings at 2 o'clock. And sister, then he's here. Deadend Crow. And Deadend Crow looks at this, he's like, Deadend Crow was what Jin says. And he got clean. He's so huge. And then Laguna. This is much worse than expected. And then you got Connor. Evasive maneuvers. Let's see how this scalawag moves. That's funny. You got Moscow mimicking like Moskoy. Interestingly enough, we have Holy looking over at Deadend Crow, looking like, there you are. The real threat. The threat I've been waiting to take on for ages. Go back over to Weisz and Homura. Weisz, might I ask you to return me to my normal, usual attire? What? I know they don't look like much, but these battle suits are really strong armor. I prefer to wear something with more freedom of movement. Me too. This outfit's kind of tight. I don't like it, is what Shiki says. And Weisz like, fine, here. Yes, this is perfect. Yeah, and it's interesting because you have Shiki and Homura just going like, finally, we're just back to our normal outfits. Kind of very sibling-like. It feels like, finally. We don't have to deal with those skin-tight outfits. Which, I want to address something that's about to pop up. Because Weisz says, while we're at it, Rebecca can wear, essentially this. If you will. It's a bondage suit. Designed by yours truly. Which, I know ultimately when this chapter first came out and you got that, it's like, come on, we're in the middle of a fight, and we're having this. I will say, it is kind of one of those things where you're like, what the hell? Why are we having this in the middle of a very, very intense arc? It's one of those things where it's not really necessary. If this was, say, like, after the arc, I think that's fine. If it would have been like an after the arc, I would have been like, all right, sure, whatever. But let me just go ahead and say this: I got why Weiss decided to do that, because having said that, you see, at first you kind of see, like that glare on his like, designed by yours truly, like he's so giggity about it, but then you just see Weiss acting normal, like now you're acting like your normal self again. And that's the thing. It's on the surface, it's like, yeah, it's still out of nowhere. And yeah, granted, I can still say that, yeah, I don't think it was really necessary. But given Wise's motives as to why he did that, it's because he knows Rebecca's had a lot of stress on her mind when it comes to, the chronophage and the linkage to, to her cat leaper ability. Like, a lot's been weighing down on her, and he's like, I need something to kind of make her feel like herself. So it's like it's not necessary, but given the situation, you know, it's it's half and half. Well, ultimately, but we're getting that. And she gets like, I prefer this one. I said, change me back. And this is where we get to a very, very, very cool thing that's been going on so far. Where you have Happy and Pino. Anyway, there's something about the machines here. I agree, they don't seem like they were built this way. What do you mean? I can't quite describe it, but it's as if they are growing, like vines. It's like they grew into formation over time. Well, they did call it a living planet, is what Rebecca's saying. And then he got wise. It may be that the machines have been eating away at the planet. If that's true, I wonder what it was like before. And Rebecca says the chronophage ate its time, revealing the beautiful kingdom that once stood here. Wouldn't that be nice? And I want to say this, given that little line of dialogue, considering that the motivation of this entire fight against Ziggy is to bring a chronophage, I honestly would not be surprised. I wouldn't be that surprised if, say, the chronophage does bring Lendard back to where it needs to be at. I could see Hero pulling that off, where it's like, okay, there's just through that little line of dialogue, we get that towards the end. We'll see. You see Happy saying, you see Pino. Look, we're about to come to an open space. And what looks like a coliseum of sorts. And when I saw this panel, I was like, yo, whoa. That's like the detailing in the artwork I thought like really stood out to me. Like you're seeing a very coliseum like setting and you see it all in ruins. Shiki goes like, what is this place? It looks like a coliseum. Like a medieval arena. There's someone there. And yo, the freaking Dark Stars are here. We get the Dark Stars. We get Clown, we get Wizard, we get Killer. We see a Brigadane. Oh my god. Like when I saw these guys, I was like, things are about to go in a certain direction. And the fact that there was four of them was something. Now keep in mind, it's Brigadine 2. Because Brigadine 1, well, was gone. I think there was one more too. Like I think one or two of them disappeared, and Ziggy had to rebuild them. So it was like Mark II. Fools who stand against Lord Ziggy, prepare yourselves. That's what Wizard says, and then you get Brigadine. Prepare yourselves, and then Killer. Time to fight us. The Demon King's 4 Dark Stars. This will be where you meet your end. Ziggy's cronies, eh? Which means we are approaching the core. Be careful, everyone, and Shiki, let's go. And that's the end of that chapter. Where we get to chapter 186. Where we see, interestingly enough, Michael and Shiki. And I think that's where we get to something that happens in this chapter in particular. So we're seeing all this, and Pino's estimating everything. The Demon King's 4 Dark Stars, successors to the 4 Shining Stars. Now analyzing their battle abilities, they surpass the Shining Stars in performance and numerical statistics. But we're not going to lose to a bunch of jerks with no hearts. Is what Happy says. And then Wizard's like, hearts? Homura, if you had hearts, those hearts would be pained at the thought of hurting innocent people. And the Killer's like, hearts, And Clown, well, you could say we don't have hearts, but you could say that we do. And then Brigadane says, we fight for the good of all mechanical life forms. That is our heart. Rebecca, that's not really a heart. It's a program you have to follow Ziggy's orders. So it's kind of like giving off their philosophy, if you will, of what they stand for. In their eyes, it's like, okay, we're doing this to save, you know, all machines. But from the perspective of the crew, it's like, no, that's just a programming. So it's an interesting conversation, if you will, because it's like, no, that's just something you're following. It's not something you believe in. And maybe that's something Hero could bring up in the future. Maybe. And I'm going to set you all free. That's what the heart is what Shiki says. Let us no, set us free. Fine phrase. We use it often when addressing humans. And then Homura draws out her sword. Here they come. And right when this happens, that's when things start shifting once more. Because Rebecca says what's happening. And Pino says, a landscape plugin. They're creating a new dimension. Whoa. And they're all separated. Weisz is up against Killer. He's like, wait, where are we? The Subdimension program. As we see Weisz holding his gun, we've created unique backdrops in which to kill each of you individually. I am Killer, the brain of Edens, and I will be killing you. The brain, you don't look to be very strong in that department. I am the flame of Edens. I'm going to use my heavy artillery to turn you to cinders. And right when that happens, we cut over to Rebecca. What the heck just happened? She's about to free fall, grabs onto the rope. Well, what's going on here? Rebecca, and we see Happy and Pino in a cage. But she pointed like, wait, Happy, Pino? What a circus without an audience. Am I right? Where, and I should have figured this out here. Because as soon as we kind of got a circus-like setting, I was like, what's one thing circus has? And I was like, clowns. Oh, wait a minute. Clowns. Now, let the greatest show from hell. I actually like that. That's a pretty nice little line. Where you're like, now, let the greatest show from hell begin. Usually it's like the greatest show on earth, but he's like, no, let the greatest show from hell begin. And it's interesting because we cut over to Shiki now. Where am I? Don't you remember? Take a good look around. And Shiki's kind of stunned. This is the land of swords, magic, and dreams. The kingdom of Granville. Your home. Hello, Shiki. And Shiki's thinking back, like, Michael. And right when that happens, once again, cut over to the Coliseum. And we see Homura and Brigadane. 3 of the Dark Stars have disappeared as well. They enjoy fighting in alternate dimensions. But I do not. I find this arena to be the place most suited to battle. Bring them back. There is nothing to bring back. They are here. We just cannot interact with them. I haven't the slightest idea what any of that means. I too dislike these difficult concepts. Oh, human who has nevertheless become one of the 4 shining stars. I am a counterpart to Valkyrie. I am the armor of Edens. Brigadine, and you will be facing me. The counterpart to Valkyrie. This is a battle arena. Let us cross swords. And that's where we completely cut over to Deadend Crow in the Eden Zero ship. And Deadend Crow is like, this is the Eden Zero. And it's supposed to be equal to the 1? Doesn't look like it to me. Using laser vision. Connor's going like fire. Even so, see Laguna trying his best, see Jin. Our starfighter Vulcans don't even scratch him. And then Sister says, the Zero's guns aren't phasing him either. We're best be making an opening to fire the main cannon. And Hermit says, Holy, are you ready? Yes, I'm all set. But your ship's battle suits, don't you think they're too exposed in the chest area? It's better than what you normally wear. I fine-tuned the OS just for you, launching the Steel Sorceress 94. And as that's about to go through, come back over to Shiki. Hey, it's good to see you again, Shiki. And Shiki's like taken aback, like, wait, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's weird. You've really grown. And Shiki says, you're not Michael. Stop your stupid games and show yourself. What's gotten into you, Shiki? Why the scary face? Oh dear. Is he at that rebellious phase? Here, have some of my bread while you're here. This is an illusion. It's not them. They're gone. True. We did all die. However, in a virtual space, one can live for eternity, especially machines. I can take all of our memories with us. Or we can take all our memories with us. Lord Demon King. And when I saw this, I was like, why? Like, why you gotta put more salt in the wound? Like, why? Because Witch! I'm so happy to see you again. And you see this man about to ball out too. Lord Demon King. Stop it. This is an illusion. Those city little human hearts are your weakness. And she does this while embracing him. And he's still saying, no, it's because I have a heart. That you won't fool me. As that's happening, we see the man himself, Wizard, appear. As Ziggy's, I suppose that's Ziggy. As Shiki's like, see, I knew some shit was up. I knew some of this shit was up. I was suspecting from the beginning. Super, super suspecting. And 187 has a few interesting points too, because while the fight between them does happen, we get something regarding the roles for the Dark Stars and how they counteract each of the Shining Stars. Like how Wizard explains it is a killer. He already described himself to be the brains of Edens, which is a counterpart to Hermit. And then Clown, represents death, which is a counterpart to Ivory, who represents life. And then Valkyrie is matched by, Brigadine, the armor, because Valkyrie represents sword and armor. So it's like, you got the correlations there, but that leads you to Sister, or not Sister, but to Witch, where Witch correlates to Wizard, where he represents himself as the shield. Or no, the shield of Edens is Witch, ultimately. And Wizard likes to refer to himself as the Spear of Edens. My spear is a galactic pole arm that can shatter any shield. See the fight go through. You caught my magic in your bare hand. No, you must be holding it with your gravity. Now you compressed it? Here, have it back. Air ether. That was fast. Magic attack, gravity fist. But what are these things? That's what Shiki says. Fire ether. Black blaze. For a blaze that's supposed to be black, it doesn't look super. I don't know. Part of me was kind of expecting it to be somewhat like the black flames from Opar Thunder. If anyone has read Opar Thunder, you know what I'm referring to. But I expected for flames that are supposed to be, a darker color. I was like, it's a little light. I see little bits of it where you see little shards of it. So nitpicks, but Yeah, your gravity doesn't. Sorry, guys. Your gravity doesn't hold a candle to Lord Ziggy's. We'll see about that. He smothered my flames, and we see Shiki go into his overdrive mode. And I want to say this is the first time we've seen it. I want to say, as far as the time skip goes, this is the first time we've seen Shiki enter overdrive, which is cool. Because I think the last time we've seen Shiki go into overdrive was in Euro 66. I want to say. I could be totally off on that. And if I am, just let me know. Let me know if I am totally off on that. Why does he look like that? Overdrive. This contradicts our data. Has he altered himself in 3 years? Magimech attack. Meteor breaker. What the? My energy's fading. Drain ether. Magic that siphons away the ether of my opponent. The more powerful the ether unleashed upon me, the more powerful I absorb. No. This is the end, Shiki. Battle dress equip. A human can never hope to defeat a machine. What the? His memories. They're falling into my mind. What memories? You're like a wizard. The magician of the courtroom. Oh, kinda hinting at a possible thing that Wizard and Witch had? But I remember that was the big thing the Eden Zero community was talking about. And they were like, yo, are we getting a little bit of a tease? Especially with that little heart symbol with Witch and Wizard. And it does lead to something, because something that stood out to me was, because again, it was just a normal conversation. It was just a brief conversation between the two. If I'm a wizard, then you must be a witch. A steel sorceress with ironclad logic. Ugh, that makes me sound so rigid and stiff. And Shiki's like, wait, you knew witch? Which gets us into chapter 188. Because that was the cliffhanger from 187. Which is called 1/10. You knew Witch. I'm the second generation android modeled after Witch. I possess all the data relating to Witch. I have no record of any contact with her. It would not be necessary. No, I saw a memory of you talking to Witch. Of course. Which he relates back to what Hermit says. Uh, Ziggy erased all of the memories Witch and the other shining stars had from outside the soccer cosmos. I think Ziggy did it on purpose. I wonder if there's something he didn't want us to know about. Now, that's sometime after Volume 5. I know that. I don't remember exactly the chapter number per se. But it is something to note here when it comes to the story. So maybe he erased some of your guys' memories too. Memories of something. That wouldn't be some that he wouldn't have wanted you to know about. And you knew each other during the times of the wiped memories. And Wizard kind of is like, hmm. Even assuming you're correct, Lord Ziggy must have had his reasons. My mission remains unaffected. My mission to kill you. Lightning ether. My magic has absorbed all of your ether. You have no power left. And again, even despite all of his ether going away, you still got Shiki saying it looked like you and Witch were pretty close. I think you were actually friends. It makes no difference. It makes a big difference to me. If you were friends with Witch, then maybe you can be friends with me too. Cut back over to the circus. You see Rebecca getting on top of the rope. Rebecca, be careful. The rope puts you at a disadvantage. You need to find more solid footing. It's what Happy and Pino say. Rebecca says, yeah, I know. And Clown's doing very clownish things because Rebecca's like, whoa, hey, don't shake it. Clown dances in an alluring dance. Rebecca loses her balance. And I love the faces that Happy and Pino make because Happy's like some kind of commentary, or rather, it looks like an RPG system message. How is that alluring? That's what Rebecca says. Clown dances in alluring dance. Rebecca. And we see Rebecca going into her overdrive mode. Which, I know I've said it before, but she looks stunning in her overdrive outfit. Whew! Safe. No, you're out in many ways. Your appearance has become terribly decent. Rebecca strikes an alluring pose. No, she doesn't. Cut back over to Weisz versus Killer. He's gone. My role is assassin. You can't expect me to stand out in the open. Try and find me. This is a game. That's stupid, is what Weisz saying. I have a scanner now. Ugh, that's against the rules. That would make the game no fun. And while that's happened, see, I wouldn't have said that. I would have just kept that as. I mean, yeah, I get it because it's like, oh, hey, look, I've got this up my sleeve. He overwrote my program, little punk. So what? He's a good programmer as Herman. Try and find me. And as that happens, cut over to Brigandine versus Homura. Such power. I cannot parry his attacks. I cannot cut him. No blade can pass through my armor. Cut over to Shiki and Wizard. Friends? Nonsense. It was Ziggy who taught me how important friends are. But that isn't Ziggy. But that Ziggy isn't around anymore. Lord Ziggy had a short lapse of reason. No. Wait a minute. When Ziggy erased Witch and the Dark Star's memories, it was before he went berserk. And again, this alludes back to what I was saying earlier, is that maybe the Ziggy we're seeing right now is obviously not the Ziggy from the past. Obviously. But it's something now Shiki's starting to put together. Because he says, in other words, it was when he was still my kind, caring grandpa. And we haven't heard him say that in a long time. But I mean a super, super long time. Does that mean? Does that mean something? Why would Ziggy erase his crew's memories while still himself? What did he not want them to know? No. It can't be. Sorry about that, guys. I had to walk away for a brief moment because my throat was getting a little dry. But when Shiki says no, it can't be, I sat there for a moment thinking, what is it that Shiki is piecing together? What are you muttering about? With your ether depleted, you cannot withstand my attack. Now turn to dust. Cosmic lightning. As that happens, we see Shiki about to go in for the attack. Almost kind of ripping through Wizard. Very Igneal-like, if you will. And that surprises Wizard, and he says, sorry. I guess I overdid it a little. But that's impossible. I absorbed all your ether. About a tenth of it. Which is interesting because that is the title of the chapter. I'm going to be fighting Ziggy. Of course, I have to save some energy for that. I thought 1/10 of my power. The fact that he said it was only 1/10. That's the thing. It wasn't his full power. He's only used 1/10 of it. And that makes me wonder about Shiki's power scale because, oh my god, if this is Shiki only 1/10 of his power, that makes me wonder how he's gonna be when he's going all out. That's insane. Would be enough to beat you, but you were stronger than expected. It's overwhelming. Are you really that strong, Shiki? And as that's happening, you see Wizard give the call. Attention, all Dark Stars. Don't underestimate them. Hey, this is just a theory, but do you think maybe Ziggy knew he was going to go crazy? I mean, it's a possibility. Again, my big thing initially was that maybe this is Ziggy putting on a facade. I thought that's what this was. I thought this was maybe Ziggy pulling on a facade just to test Shiki. That's what I thought. Now, that it could be a case of split personality. That's how I'm determining this whole thing now. Is the Ziggy we're seeing, like, there's two sides of Ziggy now. There's a Ziggy we've been seeing ever since he was brought back in the Eden's One arc. And there's still the old Ziggy, the Ziggy we were introduced to way early on in the story. So it could be a case of, like, there's two sides. It's like Yugi and a 10. Or in this case, yeah, split personality would be the best way to go about it. Or yeah, it would be split personality. You have one side acting one when you have another side acting a totally different way. Do you think Ziggy knew he might be going crazy? Again, it's a possibility. But let's go ahead and dive into chapter 189. Where we have this beautiful cover page of Homura and Valkyrie. Just playing cards. That's kind of cute. No one can explain why Ziggy did what he did 18 years ago. Did he know he was going to go crazy? Is that why he did it? If he does, see, this is the key thing. This is a very, very key thing, is what Shiki says. If it does, that means there's some secret in the memories he erased from the four shining stars. And Wizard says, that is ridiculous. His current personality, the way he thinks now, that is the real Ziggy. 18 years ago, he was the one who lost his memories. And Shiki points out that's exactly why it doesn't add up. Why would he erase his friend's memories? And why are you in those memories? It's it's something I've been contemplating about too. Like, if that's the case, if he erased all those memories, why am I seeing things of memories that he erased? Ultimately, it's showcasing that there was something that happened beyond the sacred cosmos, ultimately. But I have to know what that secret is. I really, really want to know what the secret is behind why he decided to, erase the memories. Because if Shiki's seeing something as far as Witch and Wizard having a conversation that even Wizard can't remember, it's like, wait, pause, rewind that. So there's obviously something more to Ziggy than what we're being led to believe. And I am 100% on the idea that, yeah, something's there. What's there, though? We'll have to see. But we get that, and then we cut over to Elsie and Justice, where she's she's held behind a pole, all chained up, and then Justice is there. Keep your voice down. This place is crawling with android soldiers. James. I did find some first aid. But if you strain yourself, you'll reopen the wound. Why did you help me? I told you, I'm not helping you. It is my mission in life to kill you. Then kill me now. I don't have the strength to fight back. Sorry, but I intend to do more than merely kill you. First, you will stand trial in the Galactic High Court. You will confess and atone for your crimes. I won't kill you until after that. Ziggy taught me if you don't kill your opponent when you have the chance, you'll regret it. And Justice says my focus right now is getting off Lendard. The great champion of justice would take off and leave Ziggy to run amok, is what Elsie says. Holy can take care of Ziggy. You knew she was with us. That two-faced. She did betray us. No, I received the report from Feather. We were all surprised so many of the Rations Ace Galactica are in one place. So, our whole team will fight too. Cure, Eraser, and Feather are all on their way. This is getting serious. I know you were fighting the great Demon King himself, but I can't believe you were beaten so easily. For a moment, he was the old Ziggy again. And Justice says that was part of his plan. And even Elsie's kind of like, but I'm not so sure. I just can't help feeling that part of his heart from the old days is still there inside of him. Cut back over to Rebecca and Clown. Oof. Got Clown there too. Hiya. Going for the attack. Whoopsies. What's got into you? Suddenly, you're all raring to go. Apparently, my overdrive improves the sense of balance on my feet. And Happy's like, of course, because Cat Leaper was always centered in her leg and feet. And equilibrioception. Yeah, I think that's how you say it, right? Equilibrioception. Yeah. Equilibrioception is more in the semicircular canals and utricles of the. I think I get an idea of what Pino was about to get into because Pino was like, yeah, the details are important. hmm Wizard did say we have permission to use overclock, but I will need it against you. I mean, honestly, I think I may end up with the wimpiest weakling of all. So what if I'm weak? I knew what I was getting into when I decided to fight. I don't care how weak I am. If I can help my friends, that's good enough. Can you, though? Is what Clown says to Rebecca. It's not about if I can or not. I already decided that I will. And she does that. She smacks Clown with her leg in the face. You did it! But even so, I was like, Get back over to the easier ship. We see Labilia and Couchpo. Oh, Libby, maybe it wasn't such a good idea for you to stay on the ship after all. Fine, thank you. There you go again, hiding behind that persona. Rebecca's out there fighting for us. I don't want to be the coward who runs away. That may be so, but there's nothing either of us can do. Hey, I know. This is exactly what B cubes are for. Let's raise our morals with a fun video. And she activates the B cube. This is Rebecca's latest video. When would she have uploaded it? Hello, welcome to Oneka channel. I'm Rebecca. I made this video today because I have something important to tell all of my loyal viewers. I might have mentioned this a few times before, but I live on a spaceship. The entire crew is like a family to me. And tomorrow, our mission will be setting out on a big mission. I can't tell you any details, but this mission is to protect the people I care about. And well, I can't say it won't be dangerous, but don't worry. I promise I'll be back. So I won't be uploading any videos for a while. And I'm really sorry about that. Which I want to point out something. In the comments, it's interesting because, BCubers, YouTubers, I know especially when I do live stream discussions, I'll get comments every now and then. But you get over here like comments saying, "No! Do you expect us to continue our lives without Rebecca? I'll wait as long as it takes. I'm gonna cry. Don't go. OMG, you're my life. There are people you care about that aren't me. Rebecca." Uh, and then you get this nice little farewell, and I was like, this kind of got me in the feels too. I saw this, and I was like, oh man. But I promise, you'll see me again. But until then, like all heartfelt too. And then you got Couch, but like Becky and Labilia is like bawling out and everything. What's the matter, Libby? It's just not fair. Why did Rebecca have to get dragged into all this fighting? She's a video streamer, so why? Well, it's like she said in her video. She thinks of the people on the ship as her family. That doesn't mean she has to go out there and fight. That's for Becky to decide. I don't think this means that she's not scared, but her desire to help her friends is bigger than her fear. And that's what's moving her forward. And this is where we get something with Labilia. And I think it's something that's going to really uh, set a course for where her character will go moving forward, because she says, then that means I have the right to protect her too. Labilia walks away. She says, Libby, wait, you can't leave the safe room. Libby! Cut over to Cloud. Ugh, the rope. Rebecca, it's okay. Cats always land on their feet. Get the shot. And Clown's about to do something, which Rebecca's like, wait, what? For our next act, we will have the Ring of Fire. And that is ultimately where the chapter ends, chapter 189. What I will say is this, is that a lot of these chapters, 184 to 189, there's a lot with Ziggy. His motivation. The reason why he wiped out his memories. Why he, not his memories, but the memories of the Dark Stars, the memories of the Shining Stars. And she keeps putting all that together too. If that's the case, why? What reason is there? Like, did he know he was going insane? And even Elsie too was pointing this out, that maybe he knew. Maybe he knew something was up. And perhaps in a way, you could say that yeah, there's still this old part of Ziggy that's in there, but it's being masked by, the Ziggy we've been seeing ever since, like I said, since the Eden's One arc. Again, does that kind of, it doesn't debunk my theory on the whole situation where he's faking everything. It's more so, like I said, there's two personality sets. You have the Ziggy we've known since the very beginning of the story, and then we have the Ziggy we're seeing right now. It's just ever since this arc started, and especially more so with the fight that Elsie and Ziggy had, there is that brief instance where he tells Elsie to run. Ultimately, yes, you could say, oh, well, it was just a cheap shot. But given the following chapters, you're kind of sitting there thinking, is that the case, though? That's my thing. Is that the case? I don't know. I don't know. If I'm the play percentage game, I'll say this. There's a 60% chance, in my opinion, that there's, that there's two personalities, I think. And there's a 40%, like I said, 60% chance that there's two personalities, and a 40% chance that Ziggy's faking it. I'm now on the side that it's two personalities, I think. But that's something we gotta see. Now, some people could say that when it comes to Labilia, maybe this is a death flag. Oh no, like she wants to protect Rebecca, and this is where we get a send off for her. Maybe it's possible, but then again, like I said, I thought when we were getting that confrontation between Ziggy and Elsie, oh, she's gonna go, and then Justice came in and saved her. That doesn't exactly mean Elsie's scot free because Acnoella is still in the picture, and ultimately someone's gonna lose. I'm gonna say that right now. You don't walk away from this arc and not expect somebody to go out. I think somebody's going to go out. Do I think it's going to be one of the shining stars? So soon after Witch? I don't think so. Because here's the thing. Yes, technically you could argue, well, Valkyrie was already gone by the time we got to her. But we didn't get like a full-on confirmation until, right at the end. Like, even if Valkyrie were to come back, it wouldn't be the same Valkyrie. So, that was Volume 8. And Witch didn't go out until Volume 19, ultimately. So, if I'm to guess, I don't think we're going to get another one of the Shining Stars go out until maybe a few arcs down the line. I think. I think it's going to be a few more arcs before we get one of the other Shining Stars go out. I think. As far as what I think this means for the story, like I said, the whole thing with Rebecca and her video speech, I thought was very heartwarming, very heart wrenching. Hit me in the feels because I was like, oh man. But like I said, people are going to be like, oh, but she's going to survive. Go back to chapter 4, 2,000 years later. What do we get? We get a man and a woman, supposedly dead. And you see Rebecca's beekeep, Eden Zero. That's 2,000 years in the future, by the way. So, and I do feel like that's going to lead to something. Like, Hero's not the type of author to just throw something in and then not follow up on it. Because even like some of the other plot points in Fairy Tail, I wouldn't say Fairy Tail is like the biggest thing to bring up, but case in point, Zeref. Zeref's a big deal. I think we can all address the way Zeref was handled in Fairy Tail and his connection to Natsu. Like that was a super super big deal. And remember that took, I want to say 400. No, not even 400 chapters. That was right at the end of the Avatar arc. I don't remember the chapter number per se, but I do remember when we got that backstory. It was like, whoa, holy shit! Like Natsu and Zeref are brothers. That makes complete sense with everything within the narrative of the story. And given that, let's go back even further to Rave Master with Seacard. The shit was Seacard. I mentioned them almost every other time in these live stream discussions of Eden Zero. But let's be honest. I don't think anybody expected the skeleton to be Seek. I really, really don't think anybody expected the skeleton to be Seacard when we got there. Because it's like, oh, there was this powerful force that was kind of keeping everybody away. And then we come to find out, oh shit, it was actually him the whole time. So, if we're keeping that in mind, we're keeping the way how the mystery behind Zeref and his connection to Natsu was handled. I think we're going to be in for something big when we do get the Ziggy revelation. Like I said, my opinion has swayed so much now because initially I was like, maybe he's pulling a facade. And now I'm less on that theory, and I'm more so thinking there's, two personalities. Think of it like, I wouldn't even think Anakin and Vader. This isn't a situation with Anakin and Vader, but do you guys remember in? I was gonna bring up Mega Man, but it's not even Mega Man. It's a show, and it was a situation where one of the characters was good, and then something happened, and the other character like switches sides. And but there's still little inklings of the old character that we've known in the character we're seeing now, if you will. I forget what show it is, but there's a scenario like that where it's like, oh my god, like what happened? But then there's like these little shards, little inklings of the old person that was still in there. And that I think is more plausible with Ziggy because in that respect, yeah, a lot of people could say, well, if he was just faking it, it would just justify all of his actions. I'm not saying that's justifying his actions at all. I'm just saying it's an explanation that we could get. Having said that, though, I think having the two personalities seems more viable at this point in time in the story, ultimately. But what I think could happen next in the following chapter of Eden Zero, I do think we're going to focus more on Rebecca and Clown's fight. Or I like how the transitions have been so far, which I haven't really touched on, because we got Wizard and Shiki, and that fight's done, and then we got Weisz and Killer's fight, and then Valkyrie and Brigadine's fight. I like how we're transitioning through that. Some people could find that as like, yo, like, why are we just moving around all over the place? But the way Hero is weaving the chapters together and how we're getting these little transitions, I think it works for what it is. I won't say it's perfect, but it is something. Is there a sense of criticism that could be said when it comes to the fan service parts of these chapters? I don't think it's super big personally. Like, yeah, there's a few panels here and there where I'm like, okay, like, yeah, that kind of stands out. But I'll say this, outside of what happened or with what Weisz did to Rebecca, and even then, he mainly just did that just to get her mind off of, what she's been thinking about. Because, like I said, she has been stressing out about the chronophages and how they all lead to where she's at because of her cat leap ability. So in a sense, it's kind of like, all right, I need to do something to get her mind off of that. So it's like, yeah, it's not the best card to pull, but if you want to like get somebody's mind off of what's it called, if they want to keep somebody's mind off of stress, then hey, I guess it works in its own way. But that's like my only little sense of criticism right there, is just that one specific instance. And even then, like all the chapters, I will say, in terms of my overall rating, they're great chapters. I won't say they're amazing, but they are great, in my personal opinion. I'm a little curious with what's going to happen with Justice now that he's here in the arc, and the fact that we're still having the battle with Deadend Crow. Like I said, someone's gonna go out. I don't know who it is at this point, but I feel like somebody's gonna go out. Elsie still has the biggest death flag, though. Personally, I feel if anyone's gonna go, I think it's gonna be Elsie, considering that this is her home world too. Like, if you come back to your home world, I don't think there's any means of escaping. I don't think. But Hero could surprise us. That's the thing. He could surprise us, and Elsie could be fine. Maybe, who knows? It's Justice who goes out in this case. But you got to make it work. That's the thing. There's a lot of ideas I think work well in concept of a story. All of it does come down to execution. And I think that's something people tend to forget about. There's a lot of cool concepts you could do in a story. And it all comes down to execution because either that concept could be really great or it could just falter. Case in point AOT. What that's final chapter. But that's a whole other can of worms to dive into. But keep this in mind. We're 11 chapters away from reaching the big 200. And I can't believe I'm saying that because I still remember Eden Zero, when it started, this was only just under 1 year after Fairy Tail ended. Like, literally 1 year after Fairy Tail ended, we got Eden Zero. And now we're like 4 years in. About to hit the big 200 chapter. And we're still currently in the Cade Cosmos. Yeah, we're still in the Cade Cosmos saga. Only 2 arcs in. That's crazy. Because, let's go back. The Sakura Cosmos saga started with the intro saga. And we go all the way up to the Eden's 1 arc. That's 9 arcs in the Sakura Cosmos. Aoi Cosmos is barely half of that. Aoi Cosmos only goes from the Red Caves arc to the Aoi War arc. On the Cade Cosmos, we go from the X495 arc to now here, the Cade War arc. And again, I still find that crazy how we're only, we're 2 arcs in, and or like we went past 1 arc in this new saga, and we're already into the next arc. Like, that still blows my mind in a lot of ways. Also, keep in mind, a lot of people thought, okay, Cade Cosmos. After this, we're going to be done with Eden Zero. I don't think so, because Holy brings up 2 key details that I brought up in the past couple streams. That is simply the fact that we still have the Yukino Cosmos. So we're going to get a saga on that. And combining that all together, you get the Grand Shiki Cosmos. And even she points out, yo, is that a coincidence? The fact that Hero is addressing it like that, like, you know Shiki has a much, much greater importance to the story than that. And again, that goes back to what Mother said. Will Shiki become a hero legend, or will he wreak havoc as a Demon King? And Ziggy, again, points us out. Shiki is a threat to the cosmos. Now, I'm not saying that Shiki's going to go on a full, Anakin Skywalker approach where he's going to kill everybody. That's not what I'm saying. He won't go the Eren Yeager way. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But I could see a scenario where Shiki does something that's good, but what he does causes a domino effect. And that's what could lead to destruction. So it's not like he single-handedly causes the destruction, but what he does leads to it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's indirectly responsible. But that's enough of my thoughts, because I've been going on for about like an hour and 15 minutes. I'm not going to end the stream just yet. But I have noticed a few of you, well, or I should say, one of you, hey Blue, I've commented on a few things. Does Labelia give me vibes that she's going to die? Well, like I said, maybe? I think it depends. It is one of those situations where I think she could die, but we just gotta wait and see. We just gotta wait and see what happens with this current arc. Someone's gonna go out though. I feel because remember we lost Witch in the last arc, and Witch was a pretty big character. So you're gonna lose somebody. And if I'm gonna bet anything, I want to say Elsie. Elsie and maybe Justice. Who knows? What else do you got? It's better that it's not Ziggy faking it because it doesn't justify his actions. And like I said, I don't think that's justifying his actions. I just think that's just a simple explanation. Some people could make that as an assumption, yeah, that's justifying what he's done. No, I don't think it would justify anything, but could explain a few things. But like I said, Blue, I personally don't think we're going down that path anymore where Ziggy's faking it. I think now it's more so there's two personas. There's Ziggy's current demeanor, and there's how Ziggy was when he was first introduced in the opening pages of the story. I wish they kept the battle armor. Battle armor was kind of cool. I mean, yeah, it kind of gives off a little bit of a vibe that, yeah, it's a war. But to be fair, even the last war arc too, it's not like the characters didn't have like a super change in their outfits. So I think it's a little refreshing that you're not having everyone be stuck in like the same outfits. Like have like similar outfits to one another. It helps distinguish each of them, in my personal opinion. Because think about it like this. And I know, realistically speaking, yeah, it's good to have everyone in similar outfits so you know which side is against which side. But having different outfits, I think, does help distinguish each of the characters in their own way. Here, Elsie and Justice, lovers and enemies dying together. Now that's something I could see. Maybe they both got together. You still got one member of the Six yet to be. Yeah, that's true. There is still one other member of the Horatio says that hasn't been revealed yet. Because again, we already got Acnoella and we got Deadend Crow. There's still one more person we have yet to know about. And maybe we could get that. Maybe. How far do I think we are from ending this arc? That depends. Let's see. Because this arc's been going on for a while. Let's see. This arc started on chapter 181. And if we're going off of anything, the last war arc, the Aoi War, was 31 chapters. So it's from 139 to 169. Yeah, it's roughly 30 chapters. So I could see this being a case where maybe chapter 201, either 200 or 201. No, getting the pacing we're getting right now. 201, 200, maybe 210, 211. That's my prediction range. So 200, 201, 210, 211. I think is where this arc could potentially end. But we gotta see. We just gotta wait and see. I'm a sucker for war armor and outfits. Yeah, I've noticed that. You kind of are. But, well, we're talking about war arcs. There's Naruto, which kind of showcase, yeah, anyone who doesn't have an outfit or who doesn't have the same outfit, you're more important to the story. Everyone else, go over there. Like, I don't know. That's just my mindset when it comes to that situation. But overall, if I'm to rate all the chapters, like I said before, I think they're great chapters. Arguably great plus chapters of Eden Zero. And I so cannot wait to know what happened in chapter 1. I really cannot wait to see what Hero has in store for us and to see, what it means for the future. So let me know what you guys thought about Eden Zero. How do you feel about where the story is currently heading? And season 2, I wonder when we're going to get that. Maybe we'll get that in 2023. I mean, if they haven't announced anything now, hell, I doubt we're going to get something. Because we're about to enter the second half of 2022. So I think we'll get a release date announcement. I just don't think we're going to get a release date on it dropping this year. but definitely 2023 for sure. But at this point, I'm just rambling on, guys. So, like I said, how do you guys feel about Eden Zero right now? And what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen in the following chapters? And how long do you guys think we have until the Cade War ends? And until then, you guys, that's pretty much it. I'm Lucky7. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Eden Zero. And I promise, when chapter 190 drops, we will do a full-on discussion stream just on that chapter. So, till then, guys, take care and peace.